One of the things that you talk about is modern farming practices and genetically modified foods, the use of pesticides. They're supposed to increase production, keep costs down. What do you see the reality of those practices, though?
I mean, I think it's going to be a disaster in time. It's just a matter of time. They're basically destroying the soil bacteria, depleting the minerals in the soil. Because of the pesticide, the herbicide in particular is something I've really zeroed in on, and this concept of engineering a plant to be resistant to an herbicide that otherwise kills all plants, and doing that by inserting a bacterial gene. I mean, first of all, that's extremely not natural. But what's worse than that is that now you can just indiscriminately spray the chemical on the plant, and the plant soaks it up and doesn't die, and so it ends up in the food chain. So I think that is a really serious problem, particularly when it's combined with the concept that the herbicide is harmless to humans. So when you believe it's harmless to humans, you're careless with it, and you end up with a lot of it in the food that you don't look for, and then people are getting slowly poisoned and they don't know it, and no one's willing to believe that that's going on because the industries have so thoroughly convinced everybody that it's safe for humans that people don't worry about it. That's a really insidious, terrible situation that we're in. And of course the soil is getting ruined. We're losing all the important, the humus, I mean the bacteria are getting destroyed in the soil. That's messing up all kinds of things. The bacteria are really important for the plants to help them to absorb nutrients. So the plants become depleted in all these minerals due to the effect of glyphosate on the bacteria. And then we become depleted as well because we eat plants that are nutritionally impoverished. Mm-hmm. And once we're depleted in minerals, then all kinds of different things go wrong.
You mentioned in time it's going to be tragic. Are we already seeing
I think it's
signs
already
of that?
tragic, but it appears that people go about their business happily, knowing that everybody they know has some kind of problem, and they're like, oh yeah, that's normal. They don't realize it's not normal.
What are we seeing now that you think is attributed to that?
Oh, lots of things. Of course, autism is the one I was really interested in. I took upon myself the mission of trying to figure out what in the environment was causing autism about 7 years ago. And I started learning everything I could about autism and then examining all these different chemicals that we know to be toxic, aluminum and mercury and lead and all these different toxic minerals. I was sort of looking at those and felt very dissatisfied because I saw things going on in autism that I couldn't explain, looking at the biological effects of these toxins that I was examining. And so this is why when I heard 2 years ago, I heard Don Huber talk, and he's been tirelessly campaigning about the dangers of glyphosate. Glyphosate, of course, is in the herbicide Roundup, which is the most used herbicide on the planet, and that's because of its perceived non-toxicity to humans, combined with this ability to engineer these plants. So they've got this corn, soy, canola oil, sugar beets, cotton, tobacco, alfalfa, all engineered to be Roundup ready, which means that they don't die when you spray them with Roundup. And that allows them to just run the airplane over the crop and spray it all over the place and not worry about it, particularly because they think it's non-toxic. So that's once I heard Don Huber explain what glyphosate does, all of a sudden I could explain all the problems I was seeing in autism that I couldn't explain before. So this was really a great breakthrough for me, and I've just been really, really studying glyphosate since then. That's been the focus of my research. Very, very interesting molecule, and it tells you a lot about biology, so it really helps you to understand what's going on in all these illnesses. So you start with autism, but then you realize it's also Alzheimer's disease. So we have an epidemic in dementia and Alzheimer's in the elderly that's exactly matched with the epidemic in autism. Both of them are going up at the same rate, and that's also exactly the same rate at which glyphosate usage on corn and soy crops is going up. They all three align very, very well. And that's no accident. I mean, people always say, there's a mantra now, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation. And the pro-GMO folks like to use this example. They show autism and the growth of organic food exactly in step with autism. They say, ha, ha, so organic food causes autism, which I find very amusing because, in fact, it is a causal effect. Autism causes organic food. And it's not just autism, but all the different diseases that people are getting that have various gut problems. They think, well, maybe I'll try going organic. And they say, oh my God, that worked well. I'm much better now. I'll stick with it. And you're getting more and more people choosing organic food because they're realizing that it's having a positive effect on them. And so autism ought to be tracking with organic, you know?
Sure.
And so that makes total sense to me. And it also argues that correlation is causation, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very poor choice for them to use to say that it isn't, I think. So, yeah, dementia, autism, of course, all these gut problems, you know, celiac disease, and then you have even some cancers like pancreatic cancer and thyroid cancer are both going up in step with glyphosate. I've been just looking through a lot of the data that's on the web. There's great data, death data and hospital discharge data. Very, very interesting. And I've got a team of people who are working on this, just going through all the diseases and finding out which ones, you know, which ones are matching. And then you get your list of diseases, and then you say, well, okay, why would it cause this? Why would it cause that, you know? And you look at what it does, and you say, oh, yeah, I can see how this could work out, you know? So you start to explain everything. And that's been very, very rewarding to help you to understand the disease process.